Okay, good morning or good afternoon, grade 11. So what we're going to do today is you're going to start doing some close textual analysis of Act 1, Scene 1 and Act 2, Scene 2. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to give you an example of the type of analysis you need to do, because later you're going to put this in your study guide. Later, when it's your turn, I don't want you just to copy my analysis. Do your own analysis. It's very important. Okay, so obviously first scene, Act 1, Scene 1. We had the three witches. Thunder and lightning, it's pathetic fallacy. So the stylistic devices are in bold. Pathetic fallacy, when we think of thunder, lightning, evil, danger, violence. Lightning is a very violent act. So it's already setting the scene that evil is happening. When shall we three meet again, in thunder, lightning, or in rain? So again, it's reinforcing this pathetic fallacy, the idea that they're dangerous, these witches. They want to meet in thunder, lightning, or in rain, which is quite unusual. Normally, you'd want to meet on a nice sunny day. They talk about when the hurly-burly's done, when the battle's lost and won. So this idea of chaos and commotion. It's interesting they say lost and won, not lost or won. They have no sides in the battle. To them, the battle is lost and won. Somebody wins, somebody loses. The third witch, there will be the setting of the sun, sort of before the setting of the sun, which is symbolic in a way, the sun going down, the sign of death. They meet upon the heath. The heath is a sort of it's an open plain, a few trees or bushes, almost like a desert, but it in a more temperate climate. And here's the first time we're introduced to Macbeth. There to meet with Macbeth. So already, sort of this is characterization. Who is Macbeth? Why do the witches want to meet with him? We're already asking that. So already in our head, the first scene, we are sort of on alert about who this Macbeth character is, why the witches want to meet him. And in some versions, you have these sort of animal calls off stage. And the first witch says, "I come, Grey Malkin," which is related to cat spirits. And it's showing this sort of animalism. The cats have often, especially black cats, they're always associated with witches, with bad luck, with black magic. A toad spirit, which is Paddock. Again, animalism. Again, it's this sort of traditionalism. When we think about toads, it's quite related to witches, and one of the reasons why is it comes from Macbeth. And then you get this wonderful juxtaposition: fair is foul and foul is fair. This idea of magic and nature, of good and evil together. This more pathetic fallacy here: fog and filthy air. And then they exit without really revealing too much else, apart from they're clearly evil, and they've clearly got powers, and they're going to meet with this Macbeth character. So then when we go into Act 1, Scene 2, so a battle has just happened, and Duncan, what bloody man is that? He can report, seemeth by his plight of the revolt, the new estate. So why is Duncan not at the battle is one of the questions we're probably asking at this point. And this soldier that has saved Malcolm from being captured, and they ask him basically, what was happening in the battle when you left? What's going on? And the captain talks about how at first it was in doubt, both sides nearly bled to death, because we know that the rebel MacDonald paid mercenaries from Ireland. It looked like fortune was smiling on the rebels, but for brave Macbeth, well, he deserved that name, disdaining fortune with his brandished steel, which smoked with bloody execution. like Valor's minion, carved out his passage till he faced the slave. You know, Macbeth was too strong. He was too brave. He fought with such passion that Valor was his brother. And this idea that he's too strong for fortune. Remember when we did about conventions of a tragedy, this idea that unlike in Greek tragedy where all the characters are ordained by fate, they don't really have a choice, Macbeth is too strong for fortune. And he faces Macdonald and he kills him. So, you know, Duncan then says, "Oh, valiant cousin, worthy gentleman." You know, everything we hear about Macbeth, how brave, how noble, what a great warrior he is. And however, after the good news, the son, there was bad news. The Norwegian king, thinking this was his chance, begins a fresh attack. So another battle. And Duncan says, you know, were Macbeth and Banquo not dismayed by this? And it's interesting because there's some historical reference to the invasion of England in 1066 by the Normans after the King of England had just defeated one invasion by the Norwegians. And this sort of fear in England of a foreign invasion that's happening, you know, it's 1588, the Spanish Armada. And the captain says, you know, do eagles and lions get scared by sparrows and hares? You know, these Macbeth and Banquo, they're eagles, they're lions. So they were even more motivated. And they killed so many people that blood was flowing freely. You know, Duncan says they smack of honor both, you know. And then Lennox has then says there's some surprising news. And they talk about the Thane of Cawdor, who has betrayed the king. And there's this foreshadowing, this foreshadowing of traitors. They mention Bellona, who's the Roman goddess of war. And they say that sort of the Norwegians, they're not worthy of the comparison with Bellona. And there's this repetition in this scene of rebellion and traitor, this upsetting of the natural order. And of course, in the end, Duncan and Macbeth and Banquo's forces are victorious. And you know, the King of Norway wants peace. We will only let him bury his dead when he pays $10,000. And this is interesting. No more that Thane of Cawdor shall deceive our bosom interest. Go pronounce his presence. We won't let him deceive us again. Kill him and give Macbeth his title and power. And this idea of, well, we've been fooled once, we've been betrayed once, but it won't happen again. And again, what he has lost, noble Macbeth has won. So Macbeth so far is all positive, apart from this idea that the witches want to meet with him, which is really important characterization. So really the close analysis of Act 1, Scene 1 and Act 1, Scene 2, the witches introduced, we see their evil by the use of animalism, by the pathetic fallacy, and we learn that there have just been 2 bloody battles, that the Thane of Cawdor has betrayed the king, but that because of Macbeth and Banquo's valour and bravery, the king's forces have won, and that Macbeth will be rewarded by being made the Thane of Cawdor, and is spoke of in glowing terms. So already in our mind, we can see that Macbeth is obviously going to be a crucial character, and that something is going to happen to cause his downfall. And we suspect something to do with these witches. So what I want you to do is very simple. In your Google study guides, for the key scenes, make a page for Act 1, Scene 1, make a page or a slide for Act 1, Scene 2, and just go through and analyze it like this. Okay? I put all of my stylistic devices in bold. This will make it easier later. Take as many slides as you need. I will post an online version of the text to make it easier. And I'll be available for any questions. SLHL2 class, we're also going to read Act 1, Scene 1 and Act 1, Scene 2, maybe Act 1, Scene 3 out loud. Okay? Thank you.